Welcome to Dharma Wisdom Talks, where we dive into life's deep philosophies through the lens of Buddhism. In life, we all encounter three types of people: those who love us, those who hate us, and those who are indifferent to us. Each of these people brings valuable lessons, even though we may not always see them right away. Today, let's reflect on these kinds of people and the profound values they bring to our lives. Have you ever wondered why, during the toughest times, the people who seem indifferent to us teach us patience and independence? And why, sometimes, those who love us help us feel at peace and full of energy? These questions will guide us on a journey to understand the relationships we have with others, and how these challenges help us grow on our path to spiritual development. Join me in today's video as we reflect on the people in our lives and recognize that every relationship has a reason, with a deeper lesson waiting for us. Let's begin this journey to explore love, indifference, and the relationships we face in our daily lives. Don't use your mouth to interfere in other people's lives. Don't use someone else's mind to think about your life. This simple saying carries a deep message that reflects a core principle in Buddhist philosophy, especially when it comes to self-reliance and mutual respect in human relationships. Don't use your mouth to interfere in other people's lives. This is a reminder about respect and personal freedom. Buddhism teaches us that everyone has their own path, with their own reasons and circumstances. Interfering in someone else's life with unnecessary words or judgments can be harmful. Thoughtless words can disturb someone's peace of mind, which goes against the Buddhist principle of harmony and inner peace. The mouth here doesn't just refer to speech, but can also mean unsolicited advice, actions, or interference in someone else's life. Don't use someone else's mind to think about your life. This is practical advice on maintaining independence and self-control. Buddhism encourages each person to learn, experience, and become enlightened on their own. This saying emphasizes not letting others, whether family, friends, or society, impose their way of thinking onto you. Everyone has their own perspective and way of life, and relying on someone else's thoughts or decisions can lead to confusion, clouding your own ability to self-reflect and make your own decisions. Both of these sayings reflect a philosophy focused on freedom, respect, and self-awareness in Buddhism. They encourage us to live in a way that doesn't harm others while maintaining our personal freedom in every decision we make. In Buddhism, achieving enlightenment and inner peace comes from personal practice and development, not from interference or relying on the thoughts of others. Each person must find their own path. People often think that living alone means being lonely, but that's not really true. The real loneliness comes from being around people who don't understand you. This is a key aspect of life and Buddhist philosophy. Loneliness isn't always about being by yourself, It can also be the feeling of being abandoned or misunderstood, even when there are plenty of people around you. People think living alone is very lonely, but in reality, it's not. In fact, Buddhism teaches that loneliness or solitude isn't inherently bad. The word loneliness here can be seen as a form of inner peace, where we find tranquility within ourselves. Living alone, when we know how to be at peace with ourselves, can actually help us find freedom and a deeper connection with life and ourselves. This is one of the ideals in Buddhism: stillness and self-reliance. When we're no longer affected by the outside world, we can see and feel life clearly, unclouded by external influences. The most lonely thing in the world is being around people who don't understand you. This is the powerful, emotional part of the saying. Buddhism emphasizes understanding and compassion. In a relationship, if we aren't understood, if those around us can't empathize, share, or understand our struggles or emotions, loneliness in our soul becomes inevitable. Even when surrounded by others, if there's no real connection or understanding, the feeling of loneliness can become even deeper. Buddhism teaches that true understanding and connection come from understanding ourselves first. Once we understand and love ourselves, it becomes easier to understand and share with others. A person who lives in stillness, finding harmony within themselves, doesn't have to be lonely because they've found a deeper connection with themselves and the universe. Loneliness, in reality, is the result of a lack of connection and understanding. That's why Buddhism encourages practice to find inner peace, where we don't need external validation to feel whole. True loneliness only happens when we can't understand ourselves and can't find harmony with the people around us. Good people never talk too much. Bad people are the ones who always say the nicest things. But remember this: honesty and kindness will earn the favor of the universe, while deceitful and manipulative people will ultimately face the consequences. This is a lesson about the true nature of people and the deeper values of life, which also reflects Buddhist views on honesty, kindness, and integrity in all our actions. Good people never talk too much. Bad people are the ones who always say the nicest things. This is a sharp observation about human nature. In life, truly good, kind, and sincere people don't need to use fancy or deceptive words to please others. They live according to their values, act from the heart, and as a result, their words tend to be simple and straightforward, without any need to impress. On the other hand, bad people, or those with ill intentions, often use sweet, flattering words to hide their true nature. Their words are tools to manipulate others, to make people trust them when in reality, they have no good intentions. This reflects a principle in Buddhism about speaking truthfully, and that words from the heart have real power, the words of those with pure intentions naturally attract others without the need for pretense. Honesty and kindness will earn the favor of the universe, while deceitful and manipulative people will face consequences. This is a reminder of the universal law of karma. Buddhism teaches that karma is an unavoidable law. Every action has consequences, and those who live with honesty and kindness, even if they don't receive immediate praise or recognition, will ultimately be rewarded with peace and happiness. On the other hand, deceitful and manipulative people may gain temporary benefits, but in the end, they will face the negative consequences of their actions. Buddhism believes that, in times of difficulty or challenge, those who live upright lives will receive protection from the universe. The lesson here is clear: honesty and kindness are timeless values. These values never fade, even in today's world where many people seek personal gain and may use tricks or sweet words to deceive others. However, from a Buddhist perspective, acts of kindness, living truthfully, and living for the greater good are the paths to true liberation and lasting happiness. In terms of karma, even if bad people temporarily succeed in deceiving or exploiting others, the universe will find a way to restore balance. Buddhism encourages each person to live true to their values, keep their heart pure, and know that truth will ultimately prevail. Never deceive others. Because the people you deceive are the ones who trust you. And once trust is lost, it can never return to the way it was. This is a deep lesson about honesty, trust, and the irreversible consequences of betraying others. It also touches on an important aspect of Buddhist teachings, where truthfulness and trust are at the core of all relationships. Never deceive others. Buddhism teaches that every action, word, and thought we have creates karma. Deceiving others is an act that not only harms the person being deceived but also damages ourselves. When we act dishonestly, we're planting a bad seed in our own mind, and we will eventually face the consequences of those actions. Lying goes against the Buddhist principle of compassion because it disrespects others' rights and freedom. A liar not only betrays someone's trust but also loses their own inner peace. The people you deceive are the ones who trust you. This is a very important point. Trust is an incredibly valuable part of all relationships, whether in friendship, love, or even in the wider society. When you deceive someone, you break the trust they've placed in you. The person who has been lied to will feel betrayed, and that hurt is not easily forgotten. Buddhism advises that all relationships should be based on sincerity and mutual respect. Once trust is lost, not only will the other person feel distant, but we ourselves will feel isolated and disconnected. Trust is something you can't buy with money or lies. It's built over time through honest actions and integrity. Once trust is lost, it can never return to the way it was. This is a crucial life lesson. Once trust is broken, no matter how hard you try to fix things, the relationship will never be the same. The damage caused by deceit leaves deep scars, especially in close relationships like friendships, romantic partnerships, or family bonds. Buddhism teaches that harming others doesn't just affect them, it also damages our own soul and inner peace. Even a single act of dishonesty can cause people to lose trust, not only in us but in many others in the future. Sincerity and honesty are not only essential principles in relationships but are also the path to inner peace and calmness. Buddhism encourages us to live with compassion and truth in every action, because that is the only way to maintain harmony and peace, both in our relationships and in our own hearts. When we live according to these values, we not only build trust with others but also strengthen trust in ourselves. If someone forgives all your flaws because of one good quality you have, cherish them. Because most people will forget all the good things about you just because of one bad thing you do. This reflects empathy, tolerance, and a deep understanding of people. It also aligns with an important value in Buddhism: compassion and understanding. If someone forgives all your flaws because of one good quality you have, cherish them. This speaks to the preciousness of forgiveness. In life, we all have our strengths and weaknesses. However, those who truly have compassion and understanding won't focus solely on our shortcomings. They are willing to forgive our mistakes if they can see the good in us. Forgiveness is a powerful quality in relationships because it's not easy to forgive, especially when someone has hurt or disappointed you. Buddhism teaches that forgiveness not only heals relationships but also brings peace to the person doing the forgiving. Compassion and understanding are not based on perfection but on the ability to accept and see value in things that aren't perfect. Because most people will forget all the good things about you just because of one bad thing you do. This reflects the impatience and easy judgment that many people have. In life, we tend to focus on others' flaws rather than seeing them as a whole. A small mistake or a single imperfect action can lead people to judge others negatively, forgetting all the positive qualities they possess. Buddhism teaches that everyone has both good and bad qualities, but instead of focusing on faults, we should take a broader, more forgiving view of others. Especially when we love and care for someone, we should focus on their positive traits instead of just their mistakes. In Buddhism, compassion and forgiveness are core values for building healthy and lasting relationships. A person who can forgive another, even when they see flaws, is someone with an open heart and deep understanding. They not only recognize the mistakes of others but also understand that everyone is on a journey of learning and self-improvement. These are the people who deserve our respect and gratitude because they help us grow not only as individuals but also in our inner development. The lesson from this is clear. Sometimes, those who show us compassion, understanding, and forgiveness in our difficult moments are the ones who deserve our deepest appreciation. They don't just accept our flaws but also help us see and cultivate our good qualities. In this relationship, it's crucial to cherish and nurture gratitude because these people aren't just companions, they're the ones who help us become better versions of ourselves. Flies die from sweetness, women die from smooth-talking men, men die from beautiful women, and parents die from ungrateful children. This saying is filled with deep insights into human nature, especially when it comes to relationships. Each part of the saying points to some form of inner conflict, torment, or even self-sacrifice. It's also a reminder of the weaknesses in our hearts and the temptations we face in life. Flies die from sweetness. This is a metaphor for how we're often attracted to what feels good or easy, but these pleasures can lead to harm. Buddhism teaches that desire is one of the main causes of suffering. Just like the fly is drawn to sweet nectar, unaware it leads to its death, people often get sucked into temptations that feel good in the moment, whether it's greed, lust, or short-term desires, without thinking about the long-term consequences. So, mindfulness and the ability to recognize these temptations are essential to avoid these invisible deaths. Women die from smooth-talking men. This part seems to reflect how some women can be seduced by sweet words or the charm of men. It's a warning against getting swept up in relationships based on outward appearances or deception. In real life, when a woman is deceived by a smooth talker, she can lose herself in the illusion. Buddhism teaches us not to be easily swayed by appearances but to look deeper into the true nature of people, into sincerity in both actions and words. Men die from beautiful women. Similarly, in relationships between men and women, this part hints at how some men become weak or lose direction when overly attracted to a woman's beauty. While beauty can captivate, it is fleeting and unreliable. Buddhism teaches that true beauty comes from within, from a person's soul and character. Focusing too much on outer beauty can lead to disappointment and confusion. Parents die from ungrateful children. This is perhaps the most poignant of all. In Buddhism, filial piety and honoring one's parents are considered among the most important virtues. Ungratefulness isn't just a lack of respect, it's forgetting the sacrifices parents have made for their children's well-being and upbringing. Children have the responsibility to care for and repay their parents' efforts. Ungratefulness not only harms the parents but also diminishes the blessings of the child. Buddhism teaches that honoring your parents is the root of all happiness. Showing gratitude and caring for your parents is not just a duty but also a way to create peace and happiness in life. The lesson from this saying. Each part of this saying serves as a warning about the hidden dangers in temptations and relationships. Just like in Buddhism, lessons on mindfulness, avoiding desire, not being deceived by outward appearances, and respecting our parents are core values that help us avoid suffering and find true happiness. Buddhism advises us not to be drawn into fleeting desires, material temptations, or the allure of external beauty. Instead, we should focus on developing wisdom, compassion, and a deeper understanding of life. We must always remember that the true values in life are not passing fancies but the peace of mind and mutual respect we cultivate along the way. Meeting someone is by fate, understanding someone takes patience, winning someone's heart is through wisdom, and staying together for the long haul depends on tolerance. This saying carries a deep philosophy about relationships, showing us how we connect, understand, and maintain relationships with others. It reflects core Buddhist values like faith, patience, wisdom, and tolerance. Meeting someone is by fate. In Buddhism, fate, or karma, is a very important concept. Fate refers to the circumstances that bring people together, and nothing happens by chance. These encounters aren't random, they're part of a deeper plan, possibly the result of our past actions, words, and thoughts. Whether it's meeting a friend, a lover, or a colleague, these connections happen because of the fate we share with them. This teaches us that every relationship has its reason and should be valued, whether it's brief or long-lasting, because we met for a purpose in life. Understanding someone takes patience. Truly understanding another person doesn't happen overnight. It requires time, effort, and patience. In Buddhism, patience is an essential quality for learning and growth. Similarly, in relationships, understanding can't be based on first impressions or snap judgments. To understand someone, we need to be patient, taking the time to listen, observe, and truly comprehend their thoughts, feelings, and actions. This reminds us that everyone has their own story, their reasons, and experiences that shape how they think and act. Winning someone's heart is through wisdom. Building a lasting and deep relationship requires wisdom. Wisdom here isn't just intelligence but the ability to understand situations clearly, making wise decisions and handling challenges thoughtfully. In relationships, wisdom helps us resolve conflicts, understand others' needs and desires, and connect genuinely. Wisdom isn't just knowledge, it's also self-awareness and empathy, allowing us to act sensitively and reasonably in all situations. Staying together for the long haul depends on tolerance. Tolerance is crucial for maintaining a long-lasting relationship. In Buddhism, tolerance isn't just about forgiveness, it's about accepting the imperfections and differences in others. No one is perfect, and in any relationship, there will be misunderstandings, failures, or mistakes. Tolerance helps us overcome these challenges and keep peace in our hearts. Without tolerance, relationships easily break apart when faced with conflicts or trials. The lesson from this saying. This saying teaches us that relationships are not always easy, but they can become deep and enduring if we truly understand the principles of faith, patience, wisdom, and tolerance. In Buddhism, all relationships are opportunities to learn and grow as individuals. We learn compassion, tolerance, and how to maintain peace of mind in every situation. Fate brings us together with people who play important roles in our lives, but to understand and bond with them, we need patience and wisdom. Ultimately, to make relationships last, we must embrace tolerance and learn to accept differences, changes, and mistakes. This is one of the paths to happiness and peace in relationships and in life. Don't just talk, do it. Don't just give advice, take action. Don't just make promises, prove it. Everything will come at the right time. What you need to do is be patient. This saying reflects a deep philosophy about taking action, being patient, and sticking with something in life. It shows us the wisdom behind how we approach our goals, dreams, and relationships, emphasizing that only real action leads to results, while words and promises are just surface level. Don't just talk, do it. Words are easy, but actions speak louder. People can say all sorts of things, make countless promises, but without action, those words are just empty. In Buddhism, words have power, but true power shows up when those words are backed up by action. When we truly act on what we say, we not only create results but also build trust and respect from others. Action reflects who we truly are, and it helps us improve ourselves every day. Don't just give advice, take action. Sometimes, we can easily offer advice to others, but do we have the courage to practice what we preach? As the saying goes, advice is worth nothing unless it's backed by your own actions. If we only stand on the sidelines and offer advice without living it ourselves, those words will lack impact. Buddhism also emphasizes that a teacher or monk doesn't just talk about the teachings, they must live by them. They're the role model, because their actions are the most powerful lesson. Don't just make promises, prove it. Promises are often easy to make, but proving what you've said is not. A promise is a commitment, but sometimes, breaking a promise leads to disappointment. In life, we need to be sincere and responsible with our words. Proving what we promise through actions is the best way to build trust and strong relationships. This saying also reflects an important Buddhist principle, not just speaking the truth, but doing what you say. Our actions are the proof of our words. Everything will come at the right time. In life, everything has its time. Buddhism teaches that everything in life is governed by fate, and fate doesn't always come according to our plan. Sometimes, we may rush, wanting things to happen immediately, but in reality, everything takes time to develop. Understanding and accepting that everything will come at the right time helps us be patient, avoid frustration, and feel more at ease with what we're doing. Time is essential for everything to mature, and impatience doesn't always lead to the best results. What you need to do is be patient. Patience is an essential virtue in Buddhism and in life. We often want results right away, but patience allows us to keep going over the long term without getting tired or discouraged. Buddhism teaches that to achieve anything meaningful, we must persevere without giving up. Personal growth and spiritual practice also require patience as we develop our minds and hearts. All great successes come from steady, patient effort, not rushing through the process. The lesson from this saying. This saying teaches us that action, patience, and sincerity are key to achieving goals and maintaining lasting relationships. Instead of talking too much about our plans or goals, we should focus on real actions, proving ourselves with concrete steps, and patiently waiting for the results to come at the right time. In life, patience isn't about waiting around doing nothing, it's about working continuously with awareness and trusting in the process. Buddhism teaches us that practice isn't rushed, just calmly do the work, because patience helps us achieve our goals at the right time. The key is to never give up when facing difficulties. Buddhism and the lesson of patience. Buddhism also teaches that patience is one of the key elements in achieving inner peace. In our practice and relationships, we learn patience to control our emotions and act appropriately. Patience isn't passive waiting, it's about consistent effort and maintaining faith in the path we've chosen. Don't let down those who've helped you. Gratitude is huge. People who've had your back, whether it's lending a hand when you're down or offering support in tough times, they deserve to be remembered and appreciated. When someone does something for us, it's not just about saying thanks. It's about showing we're grateful through our actions, too. If we forget or take for granted the people who've helped us, it's not just unfair to them, it harms us in the long run. It damages relationships and brings negativity to our lives. Showing gratitude strengthens those bonds and brings peace to your heart. Don't hate those who've loved you. Life's messy. Not every relationship ends the way we hope, but holding on to hate is like carrying a heavy burden. Hatred only hurts you, it keeps you stuck in bad feelings, unable to move forward. Rather than staying bitter when a relationship ends, learn to forgive and let go. It's hard, sure, but it's the only way to move on with peace of mind. Even if you're no longer in love with someone, you can still be grateful for what the relationship taught you and for the good moments you shared. Don't lie to those who trust you. Trust is the foundation of every meaningful relationship. If you lie, you break that trust. Not only do you hurt the other person, but you also lose something precious, your own peace of mind. Lies create insecurity, and once trust is gone, it's tough to rebuild. Living truthfully is not just a moral choice, it's what brings peace to your heart. Keeping your word and being honest means people will trust you, and that trust is the key to healthy, lasting relationships. Lessons to learn. Gratitude matters. When someone helps you, don't just say thanks, show your appreciation through real actions. If they've been there for you, don't turn your back on them when they need you. Forgiveness is freeing. When a relationship ends, let go of the anger. Don't let hatred tie you down. Forgiveness isn't just for the other person, it's a way to heal yourself and move forward. Honesty is everything. Lying may seem easier at the moment, but it damages the trust others have in you. And when trust is lost, relationships become fragile. Always be truthful, and you'll build relationships that stand the test of time. How Buddhism ties into this. Buddhism teaches that the way we act toward others directly affects our own inner peace. Lying, betraying, or harboring hate stains our hearts and blocks us from finding true peace. On the other hand, practicing gratitude, forgiveness, and honesty clears our hearts and leads us closer to inner freedom and self-awareness. These virtues not only help us have better relationships with others but also help us find a sense of calm and balance within ourselves. If you want to love each other, you have to understand each other. Real love doesn't happen without understanding. To truly love someone, you need to know them deeply, understand their thoughts, feelings, struggles, and what they're going through. It's not just about surface level stuff, it's about really getting what makes them tick. When we understand people, we stop being quick to judge or criticize them. Instead, we can empathize with them and love them for who they truly are. This kind of understanding builds a foundation for deep, genuine love. If you want to understand each other, you have to trust each other. Trust is the key to any solid relationship. It's what makes us feel safe enough to open up, to share what's really going on inside. Without trust, we can't truly understand anyone because we'll always be holding something back, wondering if they're being honest with us. Trust doesn't just happen, it's built over time through consistent, honest actions. When we trust someone, we create a safe space for them to be themselves. That's when understanding and love can grow. If you want to trust each other, you have to be sincere with each other. Sincerity is the foundation of trust. If we're not being real, not being transparent, trust can't grow. Living authentically, being honest about who we are and how we feel, is what builds true connections with others. Buddhism teaches us that when we live sincerely, both with ourselves and with others, we create peace in our hearts. Being real with someone isn't just about telling the truth, it's about sharing our feelings openly, without hiding anything. When we do this, others will feel it and begin to trust us more. Lessons from this idea. Love starts with understanding. To really love someone, you have to understand them not just on the surface, but on a deeper level. It's about getting where they're coming from and what they've been through. Trust is the bridge to understanding. Without trust, we can't truly know each other. Trust is built through actions, not words, and it takes time to develop. Sincerity is the key to trust. You can't expect someone to trust you if you're not being honest and real with them. When we're genuine, we lay the groundwork for a relationship that's built on respect and trust. Buddhism and sincere relationships. In Buddhism, living authentically and with compassion is an essential part of personal growth. The Buddha teaches that when we truly understand others and approach them with compassion, we not only help them, but we also find peace for ourselves. Compassion and sincerity are central to Buddhism, and they can help us create strong, lasting relationships. Buddhism also teaches that when we are honest with others, we open our hearts, which allows our relationships to grow in a healthy, natural way. Living authentically is a reflection of inner peace. When our hearts are at peace, we can communicate and love others sincerely, without any hidden agendas. In summary, strong, lasting relationships are built on understanding, trust, and sincerity. We can love, understand, and trust others, but only if we are honest and real with them. When we practice understanding, trust, and sincerity, we create bonds that are not only meaningful but also bring peace and harmony into our lives. Before you speak, listen. Before you act, think. Before you criticize, empathize. Before you give up, try one more time. Before you pray, forgive. These words offer us a valuable lesson on how to live a mindful and wise life. They emphasize the importance of pausing, reflecting, showing empathy, persevering, and practicing forgiveness before making decisions or taking action. Before you speak, listen. Listening is one of the most important skills in communication and relationships. When we truly listen, we're not just hearing words, we're understanding the feelings, thoughts, needs, and challenges of the other person. It's all about being present, respecting their point of view, and avoiding misunderstandings. Only when we listen carefully can we respond in a way that truly matches the situation and the other person's emotions. Before you act, think. Jumping into action without thinking can lead to mistakes that hurt others or ourselves. We need to be mindful before acting, taking the time to consider the consequences and the effects on others. By thinking things through, we make responsible and thoughtful choices. It's about making sure that our actions align with our values and don't cause harm. Before you criticize, empathize. Before we criticize or blame someone, we need to try to understand their perspective. Empathy is key to building healthy relationships and avoiding unnecessary conflict. If we approach others with compassion, we can better understand why they acted the way they did. Instead of harsh judgment, we might offer support or constructive advice, acknowledging their struggles and being there for them. Before you give up, try one more time. Life is tough sometimes, and we might feel like quitting when things aren't going our way. But perseverance is often what leads to success. Before giving up, give it one more shot, because success often comes when we push through the hardest moments. Every setback is a lesson, and trying again is the step that gets us closer to our goals. Before you pray, forgive. Forgiveness is a powerful virtue. When we forgive others, we free them from guilt and free ourselves from anger and resentment. Forgiveness isn't just about being kind to others, it's about clearing our own hearts and finding peace. In many spiritual traditions, including Buddhism, forgiveness is seen as a way to cleanse the soul, allowing us to approach prayer or meditation with a calm, open heart. Key takeaways. This lesson teaches us how to live thoughtfully and intentionally. Every decision, from listening to responding, from acting to forgiving, requires care. These actions not only help us build stronger relationships but also help us grow as individuals, leading to a life that is both meaningful and peaceful. Listen before you speak. When we truly listen, we understand others better and can respond thoughtfully. Think before you act. Thoughtful actions prevent unnecessary mistakes and help us live responsibly. Empathize before you criticize. Understanding others' struggles leads to kindness instead of judgment. Persevere before you quit. Persistence is key to overcoming challenges and achieving our goals. Forgive before you pray. Forgiveness frees us from negativity, making us open to peace and spiritual connection. How these values relate to Buddhism. In Buddhism, mindfulness and patience are essential qualities. The practices of listening, thinking, empathizing, persevering, and forgiving help us live with greater peace and happiness. These qualities also support the path to enlightenment, where compassion and patience are central. By practicing these virtues, we can build better relationships and find inner calm. There are three types of people in our lives: those who love us, those who hate us, and those who are indifferent. Each of these people plays a role in our growth and helps us develop in different ways. The one who loves us makes us feel warm. The people who love us are like a comforting blanket. They're there to support and encourage us, especially when things get tough. Their love and care provide us with warmth, peace, and the strength we need to keep going. They are our cheerleaders, reminding us that we are worthy and that love makes the hard times easier to bear. In life, love isn't just romantic. It's about showing kindness and empathy to others, something we can learn from practices like Buddhism. Love helps us connect with people, showing us that we're all deserving of respect and compassion. It encourages us to treat others with the same warmth we receive. The one who hates us teaches us to be cautious. Someone who hates us can be tough to deal with. They might criticize us or make us feel small. But believe it or not, they can also teach us valuable lessons. When faced with criticism, we learn to think before we act. We become more careful with our words and actions. The opposition forces us to reflect on ourselves, making us reconsider our behavior and grow. From a Buddhist perspective, these kinds of challenges are opportunities for practicing patience and self-control. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, we can learn to stay calm, and maybe even use the situation to improve ourselves. Dealing with hate without retaliating makes us stronger and more resilient in the long run. The one who is indifferent teaches us to be independent. Indifference can feel like the hardest of all. It's not hate, but it's also not love or concern. When someone is indifferent, they don't show interest in our success or failures, and that can feel isolating. But this indifference is often what teaches us the most valuable lesson: independence. When no one is there to lean on, we have no choice but to figure things out for ourselves. We develop confidence, problem-solving skills, and emotional strength. In Buddhism, independence isn't about being alone, it's about being self-reliant and responsible for our own actions and emotions. It's the ability to face challenges without waiting for someone to rescue us. It's a path to inner strength and self-awareness. The life lesson from these three types of people. This perspective offers a deep reflection on how our relationships shape who we are and how we grow. Love and care. The ones who love us show us the importance of warmth and connection. They encourage us to embrace others with compassion and appreciation. Challenges and difficulties. Those who dislike us force us to be more mindful. They provide opportunities for patience and self-reflection, helping us stay grounded and learn from our mistakes. Independence and maturity. The indifferent ones push us towards self-reliance. They teach us to find our own way, growing stronger and more capable in the process. Putting it into practice. In life and in Buddhism, we're taught to view every relationship and interaction as an opportunity for personal growth. People who love us help us cultivate compassion. People who challenge us teach us patience and self-control. And those who leave us to our own devices help us build independence and confidence. Life isn't always smooth, but every type of person in our lives plays a role in helping us grow into better, more resilient versions of ourselves. Whether it's love, hate, or indifference, each relationship is a lesson that leads us toward a more mindful, balanced, and peaceful life. In the end, every person we meet in life offers us an opportunity to learn and grow. The ones who love us teach us warmth and compassion. The ones who hate us teach us caution and patience. And the indifferent ones teach us how to be independent and strong no matter what life throws at us. No matter who they are or how they affect our lives, each person brings with them a valuable lesson. It's up to us to open our hearts and learn from them. Buddhism often reminds us that everything in life is temporary, and nothing lasts forever. That's why, in every relationship, we must stay mindful, compassionate, and patient, so we don't get swept up by negative emotions. Through each lesson from someone who loves us, criticizes us, or ignores us, we slowly become more complete as individuals. We grow wiser, more understanding, and better at accepting differences. Thank you for watching today's video. Remember, the path of growth and self-improvement is never easy. But it's only when we learn to face every type of person with understanding and compassion that we can truly live in harmony with ourselves and with those around us. I'll see you in the next video of Dharma Wisdom Talks.